Hello, Darkrealmers. You will be hearing from my alter ego shortly, Karen Mossman, and she's going to tell you a story to scare your socks off. Welcome to Hell Week. Hello, Darkrealmers. Welcome to Michael J. Elliott's Hell Week. My name is Karen J Mossman, and I've got a short story for you. One that will scare your socks off. The story's called They Came for Him. We were just kids messing about. When I told Dad, he warned me about the dangers of playing with Ouija boards. His words frightened me enough not to do it again. Until now. How I wished I'd listened to him. I'd been to the pub with a group of friends. A guy called Brian joined us, and we were invited back to his flat for coffee. He began to tell us how he found an old Ouija board in a sales room. A discussion followed, and they decided to play. I could hardly say no when everyone else agreed. Brian placed 8 lit candles in an oval shape and placed the board between the 6 of us, resting it on our laps. Our fingers pressed lightly on the small wooden planchette in the centre. We were excited and expectant, although deep down I knew it would end badly. Brian grinned, his gaze sweeping around us in turn. "Is anybody there?" Everything was quiet. He asked again. We all looked around. Nothing happened. The only sound was a distant television and the candles flickering slightly. Then, with our fingers still on the planchette, we looked at each other as the television became louder. The draft turned into a breeze. The hairs on my neck stood up. Something wasn't right. "Are you there?" Brian asked once more, and the planchette shot across the board. Y-E-S! With his eyes wide and in a voice that trembled slightly, Brian spoke up again. "Are you a good spirit?" It didn't move. "Or a bad one?" It still didn't move. I was frozen in my chair. I wished he hadn't asked that. The voices I thought were from the television suddenly filled the room. I was holding my breath and couldn't look at the others. Shadows were now moving behind Brian. He was very still, his eyes fixed on me. In a haze of white noise, I saw the others were staring at me too, their faces contorted. In unison they said, "You were told! You were warned!" "What?" I gasped. Brian's face morphed back to his normal self as he asked, "Laura, are you all right?" I glanced at the others and they too were their normal selves again. Suddenly, and before I could react, Dad's voice hissed in my ear. It was as if he was standing behind me. "Get out of here, now!" My head flew around. There was no one there. I didn't need telling twice. Terror catapulted me forward and I shot out of the door, down the stairs and into the night. Dad had been dead 8 years, but when I got outside, he was there waiting for me. "Dad?" I croaked, barely recognising my own voice. "You opened the door, Laura." "I'm sorry," I whispered. Hot steam came from my mouth as my breath mingled with cold air. "It's too late. I warned you. Now you'll never close it again. You'll always see them." Tears streamed down my cheeks as he faded away. I ran with fear coursing through my veins. Every heartbeat was like a thump of warning. I tried to rationalise it. Slowing, I took long strides, not knowing where I was going. Finally, I stopped and realised where I was. It was a place I'd always avoided, the place where he had died. The road had tall buildings on each side, and tonight there was just a sliver of moonlight making everything dim and dark. My eyes cleared and I saw him up ahead, walking down the road. He was wearing the same clothes he died in. The whole accident was about to play out again. "Dad! Dad!" I called, as if I could save him, but he didn't hear me. No matter what I did, I knew I couldn't stop the events from happening. I watched him stagger. Could he have been the one to step off the pavement in front of a truck? We'd always believed it was a hit and run. Suddenly, I became aware of a shadow beside him. It shimmered, and I couldn't work out what I was seeing. I'd stopped, frozen, unable to move, as many thoughts hit me at once. Dad turned, as if he had seen something. The apparition stopped too. Dad stiffened before balling his fists. He threw a punch, and his hand passed right through whatever it was. A cackle echoed in the night. It chilled me to the bone. Terror clouded Dad's face then. He didn't believe in ghosts, and he brought me up to think the same. Dad believed in God, and we went to church, yet he was seeing a ghost. We both were. I understood then. This is what his Ouija board experience had unleashed. His words echoed in my mind. They hadn't made much sense at the time. There are bad spirits out there waiting for you to let them out. Never do it, Laura, because they'll never leave you alone. One day they'll come for you. Not even God can save us now. Dad was running in my direction, his face filled with fear. One horrible, horrible second, his eyes met mine before he passed right through me. For one brief moment, I felt his core, his spirit. He was part of me again. Then he was gone. I felt bereft, like something had been torn away. Immediately, my skin went ice cold. A raw blackness filled me. For a second, I couldn't breathe, and then it was gone. I spun around and saw the spectre sweep Dad into the road under the wheels of a passing truck. I stared in shock, my hands flying to my face. Arms reached out to me, and suddenly my friends were there. "Laura, what happened? Did you see something? You look like you've seen a ghost," added Brian, a twinkle of excitement in his eyes. How could I explain? They would never believe me. I knew then the implications would have far-reaching effects. I had opened the door. All I could do was go to church and believe in God and hope that He would save me. However, deep down, I knew it was too late. One day they would come for me, just as they'd come for Dad. Thank you.